The month of April marked a particularly sad anniversary for Canadians. 5 years ago, the month of April, Canada experienced its most horrific truck accident. 16 people were killed, 13 were critically injured when the bus that they were riding in was slammed into by a truck driven by Jaskirat Sidhu. He had run a stop sign. He was on his first week of training. He had absolutely no experience and no training. And there is no doubt that Sidhu was 100% at fault in this accident. Almost exactly 1 year later, another inexperienced driver, Rogel Medeiros, burned out his brakes coming down a hill into Denver, Colorado, lost control of the vehicle, and slammed into stopped traffic at the bottom, killing another 4 people. Again, Rogel had absolutely no formal training, and he had very little driving experience. And again, there was absolutely no doubt that he was solely at fault for this accident. Now, these two accidents have a couple glaring similarities other than the fact that they both received national attention. Neither driver had received any formal truck driver training. Both drivers were non-residents of their respective countries, and both drivers had English as a second language. Both drivers were highly remorseful, and there was absolutely no intent of malice. Both drivers received jail sentences, and rightly so. Both drivers were victims of a failed licensing system. Both drivers had their CDL, and neither one of them should have had. Federal, state, and provincial governments love to tout safety. They love to use safety as their buzzword. But honestly, safety doesn't really exist in the trucking industry. It is an illusion in the trucking industry because true safety always takes a backseat to revenue and commerce. The Secretary of Transportation and the current head of the FMCSA love to say that their goal is 0 fatalities on our highways. Yet there is virtually no change in the licensing procedure for any of the licenses one tries to obtain. There is 0 forward advancement on driver training for automobile drivers who we know cause between 70 and 90% of the accidents on our highways. Yet they haven't changed the training for that group at all. For truck drivers, again, the system is failing them because there is no minimum set amount of time they must spend learning behind the wheel. And that's the best way to learn to control one of these 80,000-pound vehicles. You can't teach it in a classroom, but the ATA lobbied hard against having a minimum set hours of training behind the wheel. It was cheaper to try to train them in the classroom and virtually never let them drive a truck except for maybe an hour or 2. They just didn't want the extra expense. One of the most stressful parts of any truck driver's day is getting pulled into the weigh station. DriveWise helps eliminate that stress with their pre-clear technology. It works on all major ELDs or as an app on your phone. DriveWise is now offering a 30-day free trial on DriveWise Pre-Clear. Check them out at drivewise.com. So for the politicians to say that their goal is 0 fatality accidents on our highways is completely unrealistic. It's just a talking point for politicians, but yet they will not provide the training needed to help reduce accidents because they don't want to lose the votes and they don't want to upset the automobile drivers with additional training and costs. So bottom line here for new CDL holders is, though, those are the truck drivers that we're concerned with, the fact is that when you get your CDL exam, you know virtually nothing about actually having to drive the truck. And this is where you've got to focus when you get your CDL and come out of driving school. Then you've got to start concentrating on actually learning how to safely drive the truck. Do I realistically think that we will ever achieve 0 fatality accidents on our highways? I don't think so. But what I do believe can happen is that truck drivers, professional drivers, can get to the level that any fatality accident that occurs is not the fault of the truck driver. No truck driver wants to be the poster child for having a fatality accident like old Sidhu here. The truth is that trucking safety is today what it has always been. It is the sole responsibility of the truck driver himself because no federal agencies can really teach you to drive well That's just up to the driver to get better at his job. And this is where the FMCSA is dropping the ball, and they've got it all wrong. Instead of mandating stupid things like automatic braking systems, the FMCSA should mandate more training and better training for truck drivers. Put more money into the system, train the new guys better, train them longer, and raise the pay, and the older guys, the more experienced guys, will stay and keep on trucking in the industry. The answers to reducing the number of accidents on our highways are so obvious, but yet safety in the trucking industry just remains an illusion because nobody will put the time and the money into it. The FMCSA and the training schools and the carriers need to take more responsibility and do a better job of training and maintaining our truck drivers. If you're interested in reading more about these accidents, check the links below. Stay safe, keep the rubber side down, remember to focus 100% of your attention on the drive, and I'll see you on the backhaul.